Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
and we are back for another edition of Kinzel's Classroom. Professor, take it away.
All right, saddle up, boys. Class is back in session. Welcome back to another edition of the Kinzel's Classroom here on the Stock Car Spectacle. So this week, 5 drivers. That's the name of the game. For those of you tuning in for the first time, we're going to talk about their days, give some grades, see if I agree, disagree. So crazy week in Atlanta, tires galore. Oh man, we saw some guys up front that we didn't see up front. Then we saw some guys who should have been up front that weren't running up front. So we'll see how the professor favors this week and who's joining the infamous Kinzel's Classroom Breakfast Club. So let's get right into it. First driver on my list is the 3-car of Austin Dillon. Honestly, pretty decent start to the year for 83 and Richard Childress Racing. Continuing to build on that strong end they had to the season last year. He just picked up his second top 10 of the year at the P6 finish. And so far through the 6 races, he's got an average finish of 14. So pretty solid day, pretty solid season. Ian Jortston, what we got for AD?
Yeah, I'd give Austin Dillon a B plus for his effort at Atlanta on Sunday. No stage points at all, but he did end up finishing in the top 10 with getting that 6th place finish. And like you said, he's been having one hell of a season. So yeah, definitely right now, him and the 3 team are B plus right now for Kinzel's Classroom.
All right. Yeah, I tend to agree there. I would even go B plus, maybe squeak in an A minus there because it's just Richard Childress Racing. And we know the struggles that they've had for a long time, ever since Kevin Harvick left that organization. So
yeah.
good to see RCR up front. We'll see if they can continue to build on that. All right, second guy on my list, and he's probably heading back to the Breakfast Club. Old 22-car Joey Logano, a mediocre 15th place finish. And I'll call that mediocre because no stage points at all. Started the race third. And this is just definitely, I picked him to win this race on the previous show last week. And that's just definitely not where you'd expect a Penske car to run at a place like Atlanta, where they've been so dominant. Mike Gamble, Joey Logano, and that 22 car.
What are you talking about? He got the best assist of the year. That's an A plus for me for Joey Logano.
Yeah.
Listen, he went ahead and helped YRBZ get the victory on Sunday. So for that instinct, the Ryan Blaney fan of me has to give him an A. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, I think in a lot of ways that's got to be an F once again for Joey. No stage points at a race like this, 1.5 miles. Penske is usually fast. 1.5 miles is usually one of the tracks that they kind of come alive at. And other than Ryan, I mean, both of the Penske cars really struggled. Brad was no better. So to see them kind of have the run they did, yeah, I think a failing grade for the 22 team is pretty fair.
Just so odd because we've seen it a couple times this year where he just didn't look like he had any speed at these 1.5 mile tracks. Like back at Homestead, he ran like 23rd the entire race, and here he never even sniffed that top 10. So interesting to see, but yep, big old F for Mr. Logano. Is gonna make Dalton Good happy, man. He's coming back to the infamous Kinzel's Classroom Breakfast Club. It's got to be at least his double-digit stay here. So yeah, come on down, Mr. Logano, and we'll probably see you again very soon. Moving on, we're going to talk about the 99 car, Daniel Suarez, next. He finished 17th and doesn't look impressive in the stat book, but that 99 Trackhouse Chevy, it was bad fast all day long. There were times he ran up in the top 10 for a lot of that race, and he ran as high as third at one point. And honestly, Trackhouse Racing, they've looked pretty solid for a new team right out of the gate. Good to see Justin Marks, Suarez, you got Pitbull on board, lots of sponsors on board for that 99 car. I mean, if it wasn't for the speeding penalty that Suarez got on the last pit stop, I think they more than likely would have gotten their first top 10 finish as an organization. So is there more of this to come, Ian Jortson?
First off, I think I got to give them an A for their effort in this race. Like you said, they were up to the point of running third. They had a bad fast car. It was just running fast all day, top 10 speeds. And if he didn't get that speeding penalty, yeah, he could have gotten that team up to 10th place, maybe. But yeah, just a great start for Trackhouse Racing and Daniel Suarez. I don't think anybody saw this coming, just, with how we've seen Daniel Suarez drive, top tier cars, and just how, new teams have kind of, struggled this year, like, 2311 Racing has so far this year. So definitely a fantastic race for Daniel Suarez. Yeah, got to give that team an A, because that's just great. And I think they're going to do great things this year. I think he's going to be able to pull off a few maybe top 15s this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see this coming. I in the past, as you guys know, I've ripped on Daniel Suarez quite a lot, but it finally seems like that was a step in the right direction for sure. And it's just nice to see a new team in NASCAR have some success. 2311 is well on their way to joining them, because Bubba Wallace, he had top 10 speed a week ago. So yeah, it's nice to see some new teams like 2311 and Trackhouse Racing having some success early on. I think both of those cars could be maybe even by the end of the year top 12 cars. I think they could get up there. So yeah, definitely an A for Mr. Suarez. So yeah, good to see for him, because I've ripped on him a lot and I did not expect this to happen. So good for them. All right, fourth driver on my list. We are moving over to the JTG camp. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Another P12 finish. It's been kind of hard not to talk about Stenhouse Jr. and the 47 team. 6 races so far this season. His worst finish is 18th. And in the last 4 races, finishes of 13th, 11th, and back-to-back 12th place finishes. I mean, for that team, those are some pretty strong runs. And we know how Stenhouse has run in the past. He's struggled a lot, especially in the Roush camp. And now we're heading to a dirt track. Stenhouse has really good experience on the dirt. He owns a dirt team, so potentially steal a playoff bid. Does the success continue? We'll throw it over to Mike.
I think it's got to be a B to a B plus kind of day once again for that 47 team of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Nick, kind of like you said, JTG isn't a team that you think of being, a top 15 car consistently. Ricky's had some runs so far this year that makes us think to the contrary. He's looked really good so far this year. I would not be surprised, like you said, to see him have a really strong run at the dirt. He's got a dirt background. So I think the Bristol dirt race this weekend plays right into his skills. So yeah, I don't think this is just an anomaly either. I think Ricky's done a very good job since coming over to this team. I think they're getting a little stronger week in and week out. Busher ran well too, didn't he? Or not Busher, the 37 Priest ran pretty decent too, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't get the finish he should have gotten. But honestly, overall this year, I mean, both of those cars, as it stands right now, both of those cars are in playoff position. So we'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. JTG as a whole is taken a step forward this year. Ricky's done a great job behind the wheel. So yeah, I think B to B plus is really fair grade for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, he struggled real bad in the Roush camp, and he last year was a little calling card for him, but this year he couldn't start off any hotter for him. So let's see if he can continue on that. And now that leads us to our debate driver of the week right here, driver number 5. And we're going to the driver of the 9 car, Chase Elliott, with that P38 finish. Yes, that engine did go down. But for Elliott and the 9 team, it's been a very start to the year for them. Like I noted in our review, 2 top 10s to start off the year. And he's been in some trouble in quite a few races. The road course, where was it? It was at Vegas, I think, where he went around. And where am I right now? So last season, the 9 car was the dominant Hendrick car. But it's looking like those roles might be switching, as the 5 of Larson has been that dominant Hendrick car with the 5 top 10s, and he's been to victory lane to start the year off. So, guys, is this just a championship hangover? Does this continue? Where do we see Chase Elliott right now, 6 races in?
I think it's just a championship hangover, to be honest. The team, they just rid the highest of highs in November. And yeah, we're probably just rolling over a little bit, but it's also just the introduction of Kyle Larson in Hendrick Motorsports. We saw him, have great speed with Chip Ganassi Racing. Sometimes they couldn't give him the best car in the world, but he was still able to pull off a bunch of wins. And now he's in the 5 car, and he has just made that car look like the top team in the entire Cup Series right now, especially with how much he dominated yesterday. So I wouldn't be worrying too much about Chase Elliott right now. I guess on the season right now, I'd have to give him maybe C plus, B minus. He ain't looking too bad, but he ain't looking too good right now.
So, yeah, and I think for the race itself, P38 finish has to be an F by default. I don't really think there's much you can argue there. But what I will say is this: I feel like that would be like, to make a school reference, that would be like an F, because as you were walking into class, somebody stole your homework right out of your hands and crumpled it up and threw it away or something. Because if you remember, that 9 car was in the top 10 up until that point for a lot of that race. And while I don't know if it had race winning speed, again, you don't know what adjustments it would have or wouldn't have made later in the race. But he was in the top 10, which is where you'd expect that 9 team to be week in and week out. So it's hard to really put something like this, where he took the damage he did and stuff, too much on his own shoulders. So, but yeah, kind of been a weird, very like peak and valley start to the season for Chase. I think it's still a little too early to be too worried about him. I think he's going to get some wins and end up deep in the playoffs as we expect him to be. But definitely, with how well Kyle Larson's ran this year, just highlights, the woes that they've had at times.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with you guys there. I'd give him a C to start off the year. Can't do anything about an engine blowing, so he won't have to come see me this week. And then I'm gonna give Anthony Alfredo the honorable F for his little rookie mistake on pit road. What are you doing, man?
Anthony Alfredo doing his best Buckshot Jones impression, facing the wrong way on pit road, buddy.
Tough start for the rookie. Yeah. What are you doing there, man? That right there reminded me of what Trevor Bayne did a couple years ago on pit road at Texas. Mother sent that thing in reverse down pit road. Like, he missed his stall. He put that sucker in reverse. He pulled a Noah Gregson. He didn't hit anybody though. So, oh god.
All right.
That reminds me of right there. But whoo, yeah, that was Anthony Alfredo, honorable F. But so Joey Logano is the only one who's gonna have to come see me. Anthony Alfredo, you can come see me too. But other than that, if you guys don't have anything else to say, class dismissed.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. Make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell to get notifications when we upload new content. Of course, make sure to check out our merchandise on Spreadshirt.com, all designed by our good buddy Dalton Good. Get hats, sweatshirts, face masks, whatever you need, and make sure to support us. We'll have the link below. Make sure to follow me, Nick, and Mike on Twitter, along with the Stock Car Spectacle accounts for weekly updates on the show. Make sure to tune into our shows this week with our Atlanta review, our Bristol Dirt preview, and the Gamblers picks. Make sure to check out Koto's Mojo with me, Adam Cornwell, and Patrick Koto with weekly sports updates. You can find that on all podcast platforms. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you later.